What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with Kay. I am Kay, and today we're going to talk about how to find tax auction properties you can flip with little money. Now, I know a lot of times when you watch my video, there is hope because, I show properties that you can purchase for $200, $300, $400, $500 and up in range, in which you can then flip the property. Now, I'm not a person who just talks about flipping and just talks and gives you information on this channel. I actually do it myself. I'll link in the description a video that I did where I discussed how I purchased a property on a tax. It was a surplus list for $4,000, and I then flipped it for 6.5 times the amount of what I paid for it. Okay, so let's get it. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is the fact that what I'm talking about here is typically tax auction properties, but to hone it in a little bit more is over-the-counter property. So an over-the-counter property is a property that you can purchase from your county, and you have to look in your county. But you can purchase from your county, and it basically are they're properties that did not sell at auction. Okay, so keep that in mind. They did not sell at auction, so you want to keep in mind that you need to do further due diligence and research on these properties to ensure that you're getting a good deal. Otherwise, you may be stuck with a property that nobody wanted, and nobody wants that. Okay, so this is Graham County Treasurer's Office. This is in Arizona. I know a lot of times folks talk about these good deals not being in the West, but here it is. This is Arizona. Now, you have to go through the county once again in order to find this list. I'm not going to scroll down because I have to kind of blur out some things. However, you can see here that the price is $658.58, $501.30, $740.16, and the list goes on of affordable properties. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Kay, are these actual homes or is it land? Another thing you may be wondering is, are there any commercial properties on here? Are there any other types of properties outside of land? And the question or the answer is yes, there are. You do have to do a lot of digging in order to find that. But I did actually find a website. And I'll release this website in my course because I just think it's very vital. And I actually just found this website. And the good thing about my course is if you purchase the course, I constantly update it. Okay, constantly update it so that I give course members the resources they need in order to be successful at the bid. Okay, at the auction. So this is a property in New York, I do believe. Now this website lists a lot of different counties. They work with a lot of different counties, and it's a third-party tax auction website, and they sell typically surplus properties. What is a surplus property, Kate? A surplus property is very similar to a over-the-counter property, which is left over, okay? And again, there may be a reason why it's left over. You have to decide if it's worthy or not for your money, okay? And your time. So this is to me, it looks like a commercial property, but it may not be. It's listed on the website as being as a residential property, but the starting bid, now we know that's not the ending bid, okay? The starting bid is $2,500 with $50 increments, and we have a bidder who is in the lead right now. It still has 1 day remaining. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind when you're doing research on these properties, whether they're cheap or not, you need to identify, is it a good property to buy? And that depends on your due diligence. You need to identify what you need to do before, during, and after the tax auction is over, or the surplus sale in this case is over. For this property and other properties like this, there's an after, right? So let's say that you purchase and you win the property. Well, what do you do next? What do you do after? And that's where you need to identify some tips and tricks and have resources on hand in order to proceed. Now, we'll say tax auction properties, whether it's on a surplus list or not, it comes with a quitclaim deed. Now, quitclaim deed is typically a lot of times not marketable or as marketable as a general warranty deed or warranty deed. What's the difference? Well, the insurance is the difference. That's why you have to do some steps after you purchase the property. So once you purchase the property, you're not done. There's more to do. Job not done, as Kobe Bryant would say. Job not done. You have some other things to do if that's what you want to do. Now, if you say, well, okay, I just want to purchase the property and I want to move on and just sell it, right? So we're talking about flipping the property. So if you purchase this property, for example, let's go back to the other one. Let's say you purchased this for $2,500. Let's say you're the winning bidder as an example, and you want to flip the property, but you don't want to do some necessary steps that come after this, which means getting a better title or a more marketable title. You can resell it. You definitely can, but I would definitely highly suggest that you be very transparent and honest, of course, with the end buyer that, hey, this has a quit claim deed and you take it or leave it, right? So you're selling the property as is, which was given to you that way, okay? So the type of deed matters because folks want to know what type of deed they're receiving. Now you might ask, well, Kay, where would you sell this type of property? Now, I've done wholesaling in the past, as you already know, maybe not. I started wholesaling overseas. We were stationed in Germany, and I got into real estate overseas in Germany. We lived in Germany for 3 years. We were there for the military. And if you want to know more information about that, I've done prior videos. Please check them out. But I typically sell all my properties on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I did purchase a piece of land for $4,000. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, and I sold it for 6.5 times worth, what it was worth, excuse me. And I did that through a realtor. So you can go through a realtor if you want to. However, just keep that in mind, okay? That there's a process. And that's the reason why I even created the course, is because I know that process. I've done the process myself, and I wanted to help others get through that process a little bit more easier, so that, you know, they can bid as well and really get a good deal. This is another property that appears to me, and I looked this property up. I think it's an office building. I do believe it's an office building. See some other pictures. Yeah, it's an office, what it appears to be, the brick, how it looks, the elongated windows. I didn't do further research on it because I'm not interested in this property. I just wanted to highlight or show you. But it says the minimum bid is $10,000. And I forgot how much land it comes with, but it comes with quite a bit of land as well. As you can see in the back, this right here. So you would need to identify, is that parcel of land, all this land back here, you need to identify, does that come with actual building as well? And that's a part of your due diligence as well. You need to identify zoning, because if this looks like a commercial property, however, you don't know anything about the zoning, that might be an issue if you're trying to do a barbershop or anything commercial wise. So checking zoning, is a little tip, is very important when you're purchasing any property, okay? And you also need to do due diligence in order to see if this property or any of these properties come with further encumbrances, okay? So an encumbrances is pretty much a lien against your property, okay? And yeah, tax auctions take precedence over mortgages a lot of times. And I discussed that in my course as well. However, they do not take precedence over other governmental liens, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You need to do your due diligence. That's the biggest advice I have with any tax auction property that I talk about or that I'm personally interested in. Keep that in mind. So that's what I wanted to show you. You can purchase these properties for a low price. You can turn around and flip them. Now, the biggest key here is to understand what the property is actually worth. If you purchase this property for $10,000, but you did no further comp research, and I talk about that in my course as well, then if the property is worth $12,000, as an example, which I know it's not because I've already looked at it, and it's worth about upward of $100,000 or more, right? So that's a big payback, right? But if you don't do your research on comps in the area about what is this property worth, then you may purchase a property and it not be worth your time or money or effort. So knowing the property's worth, or value, I should say, is very, 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 very key. All right. That's the end of my video. I truly hope you appreciate the video, and I thank you for sticking around to this point in the video. If you made it this far, please in the comment section, just write real estate. It allows me to know you made it this far in the video, and I truly do appreciate it. Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.